Good morning, guy. Can you hear me, Cumbria? It's the Nicholas Pepe edition of Gonna Talk. Are you loving it, guys? Because I definitely am. Can't wait for the old triple handshake coming next season. Oberlacher and Pepe. Who'd have thunk it, people? Who'd have thunk it? Welcome. It's your boy Si, aka the Mancunian. Welcome to Gunner Talk. Coming to you live from the seaside in Cumbria, guys. Have a butcher's at that. You guys know I'm up here helping to look after my mum. So we got a bit of a break from doing chemo today and radiotherapy, so I thought I'd try and knock one of these together, seeing as we've got a game tonight. Just have a bit of a catch up on what went on the last game and have a look at, you know, Nicholas Pepe. Oh dearie me. Oh, I'm so excited, guys. I'm so excited. Diddly diddly diddly. Oh god, I'm excited. Yeah, so I'm going to have a look into it's going to be a fun one, this, guys. Yeah, so I'm going to look into the game from the other night, and then I'm going to have a look at, you know, a few other bits that are going on in and around the club that is the Arsenal, the mighty Arsenal. So let's have a look at that game. Arsenal versus Lyon. You know, not the result we wanted, but again, you know, it's pre-season. You're not going to win every game, and sometimes there's a lot of value. You know, you can be a bit like a boxer where, you know, it's all good and well constantly winning, but it's only really you find out about yourself once you get put on your arse or you get an L. And I think sometimes there's a bit more to be learnt from getting beat in pre-season than just constantly winning and not really testing yourself. You know, I mentioned in a previous video, I thought it was quite clever of us to stack pre-season the way we have, you know, with a couple of lesser games and then some real tough, tidy fixtures, because, you know, like I said, the transfer window shuts by the time we play the first game of the season, which is different this year. So it's good to test yourself against proper opposition this pre-season, so you can make the required signings, purchases, loans, you know, and identify the right targets before then. There's nothing you can do about it till Christmas. And, you know, it's looking like we're doing a very good job of that at the moment and carrying on from the good work we did last year. So let's have a look at the lineup. We went with Leno in there, Ainsley at right back, Chambers and Socrates, centre-back pairing, Nacho at left back. And then we had Xhaka and Guendo sat deep, and Willett just in front of him, and then a Mickey Lacker over front three. And then we had a goal on the 35th minute. I thought it was a bit of a fluke cross from Mickey, to be honest. He just sort of smashed it in as hard as he could. And I've watched that goal about 6 times now, and I'm still not sure how Oba manages to put it in. Kudos to him. It just says a lot about the type of striker he is, that, you know, he can turn a sow's ear into a silk purse. Really impressed with the finish. Not so much with the assist, but really impressed with the finish. And then we had that little melee, didn't we? They scored and then we scored, and we were all excited. It was 2-1, and then all of a sudden you look at the score and it was 2-1 to them, and it was like, hey, what had happened? And obviously the Martinelli goal was offside. Substitutes. We had Lacker go off after 10 minutes, which wasn't great, but the news seems to be that it was just precautionary. Rolled his ankle, I think. Doesn't seem to be a big deal. Like I say, it was just a safety measure just to whip him off, and, you know, there's no point carrying him, playing him in a pre-season game, is there? We all know what type of player Lacker is and what type of performance we'll get from him this year, so he's not one that we need pulling his tripe out pre-season. Then at half-time we had Eddie come on for Guendo. And then the 69th minute we seemed to go from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-4-2, and then we reverted back again when we made some more subs. But on the 69th minute we had Ceballos, we had his debut coming on for Willock, Martinelli for Mickey, Mustafi for Chambers, and then on the 75th minute we had Ainsley go off for Jenko, and Nelson off for John Jules, and then we had on the 86th minute Nacho off for Medley and Ober off for Burton. So let's have a look into these guys. Leno, he made some really good saves in the first half, I thought. You know, and I said in one of my previous videos, we're going to get another really good season out of him again this year, and I think he'll confirm himself as one of the best goalies in the Prem. we let him down a lot last year, where he didn't get the numbers he should and he didn't get the respect he should have got, because he was definitely top 3 goalkeepers. I was struggling to think of anyone that had put him behind last year on purely shot stopping and form. Then Alisson, I thought he was pretty much better than anybody else. Like saying, if he was behind a defence of the quality of Alisson and the others, I think he'd have been a standout easily. But then you could maybe look at that and go, well, he might not have been having to make as many saves as he did for us, and that's why he stood out for a lot of Arsenal fans, because he was constantly under the pump. But either way, he had a good season. I'm expecting an even bigger one this year. Like I say, it was just a solid few saves from him and a solid game. I'd give him a 6.5. Didn't really do anything wrong. My boy Ainsley at right back. It was just a day to forget for Ainsley. He just had one of them days. It was a real off day for him. He just struggled. And he seemed to get worse when he really nosedived once Mustafi came on for me. And I can't give him, as much as I love him, I can't give him more than a 4. Like I say, just one to forget, and glad it came in pre-season. But, you know, the reality is we are going to get them from him, because, you know, once again, the kid is not a right back. He's a centre mid, you know, or a forward of midfield player playing at right back. And, you know, like I say to you guys, before you absolutely rinse him, well, let's see Xhaka play at right back. Let's see Torreira play at right back. Let's see Guendouzi play at right back. Let's see Mesut play at right back. Let's see Mickey play at right back. Let's see someone else play there before you hammer this kid, because like I keep saying, they do a lot worse job than he's managed to do. You know, and if he's only dropping sort of 1 or 2 performances every 10 out of position, I'll take that from the kid, because we're leaning on him way more than we should. Right back, something we all know we need. Backup right back to Hector while he gets fit. It doesn't look like we're going to go and get one, so we're going to rely on Ainsley to start the season, in my opinion. You know, I mentioned the other day maybe we might keep Jenko, because he's, you know, at least he's a natural right back. He might not have as much top end talent as Ainsley, but it counts for a lot playing in what you've learnt yourself. You know, what your natural position. But it looks like it's going to be Ainsley starting the season, so you're going to have to get behind him, guys. Chambo, my man, Callum Chambers. I thought he was impressive again. He switched off for their goal, but you know, that was one switch off in the entire time he was on the pitch, and I don't think that's too bad from someone who was playing centre defensive mid last year. And you know, like I said, coming back into the club when he's had no experience with Unai, the lads who were here, the setup. So I thought I'd give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he was really solid. Like I say, just switched off for the goal, but so did they all, in my opinion. So I'm not going to hound him out separately, although maybe it was him that got caught napping a little bit off Dembele. You know, we're talking about a top class striker, and you're going to do very well to keep him quiet for an entire match, and he was just shy of doing that. If that chance hadn't come, I'd rate him as a 9 out of 10 for that game, so I'm not going to hammer him, and I thought he was decent. Socrates, solid again. He is just a 7 out of 10 man, isn't he? I am going to rate him 7 out of 10 as well, because you're always going to roughly get that 7 out of 10 out of him every week. You might get an 8, you might get a 6, but in the main it's constantly a 7. That partnership between him and Chambers, in my opinion, is, unless we bring in a centre-back, is what we're going to start the season with. And I think it looks pretty decent. I thought it would be a bit of a mess, like I say, with Chambers going off at CDM last year and getting used to centre-back. I thought they'd be all over the shop. And instantly already, it looks a much stronger, much more reliable pairing than Socrates and Mustafi, which I find pretty embarrassing, to be honest. And, you know, him and Chambers, good. Him and Mustafi, you wouldn't trust it with fuck all, would you? So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, he's going to be our senior mainstay in the first team in the back line this year. I wouldn't risk going all out with Chambers and Holding as soon as Holding's fit, and I think he's going to need some patience. So I can only see it being Socrates and maybe a new centre-back, or Socrates and Chambers to get the season going. Like I say, I don't think we're going to see anything worldly out of him, but I do think he's someone that, you know, pretty much week in, week out, we'll be able to rely on and will put a shift in. He's not someone I'm losing sleep over at the minute. Nacho at left back, he's a 6 out of 10. You know, he's the same as some of my comments for some of other players in the squad. Just not good enough, and I'm not going to keep beating him over the head with it every week, because it's just boring, wasting my breath. And you know, and you guys don't need to hear me keep moaning about the same players. He was a 6 out of 10. He did some things alright, and then just the obvious, he's got no pace, he's got no positioning, and you know, he's going to get torn a new one this year if he starts at left back for me. You know, and if we play any decent sides, we're in big trouble down that side. But you know, I think we're all on the. Hopefully, one of him and Kolasinac leaves, and I'd rather it was Nacho, to be honest. You know, through my points I've raised in a previous video, and we bring in Turner, and then we're a miles better side instantly, in my opinion. It's not going to get any better for us, guys. Xhaka. He gets a 5 from me because he's just a pure passenger. I think that was, you know, although it was pre-season, that was one of the most condemning performances of him. And I'm still struggling that you guys that get really funny with me and go, oh, he's a really good player, and you go on with yourselves. What are you watching? Because I ain't seeing it. And, you know, that game, when you look at the partnerships that were in that game, we started with Xhaka, Willock, Guendouzi. Then it went to a 2 when we went to 4-4-2, Xhaka, Ceballos. Then it went Xhaka, Ceballos, Burton. So he played with 4 other midfielders there. And in my opinion, the only one that he looked on par with or level with was Burton, because Burton looked sloppy. All the rest of them completely outperformed him. And let's get that right, that's 2 19-year-olds. You know, one who's not, well, but neither who've had a season in the Premier League yet. And a guy who's just turned up this minute on loan. Pure embarrassment for me, and that, you know, he's going to be captain as much as I don't like it. But it just says to me the sad state of that squad that Wenger left is that this guy is pretty much one of the only reasonable options for a captain. And I don't see that either. People say to me, oh, he's a great leader. He's not. He's not, and I'll give you loads of reasons to prove why he's not, rather than coming at me and saying, shut your mouth, you wall-beheaded wanker, or you silly man cunt. Come and have a debate with me, because I will debate about this guy all day long, because you can't, there's no proof that he's a good player. There isn't any. And I had to laugh at Clive. I was watching that game, and it makes my piss boil when people chant shoot at him, because even if the guy had a penalty, he'd probably miss it. This myth that he's got a good left foot, where's the proof he's got a good left foot? You can't hit a cow's ass with a banjo when it comes to shooting, you know, and he's decent with it, playing a pass when he's under zero pressure, and that's it. You know, he's not got the makings of a top player. He'll never be a top player in my opinion, and he limps along in half-decent sides, and that's the same as I'll say for the Swiss national side. You know, in the clubs he was at before, he was sort of a bigger fish in a small pond, and now he's come to a big pond. He looks like a tiny fish to me. You know, he's been here 3 years, he's not improved, and he's never going to improve. And I'm sort of delighted, as sadistic as it is, and I don't want Arsenal players to underperform. You know, I wish this guy was a 10 out of 10 and an absolute baller, but I'm not an idiot, and he's not, so I'm not going to pretend he is. And the most delighting thing for me this window is that, you know, as well as the signing Ceballos coming in on loan, the emergence of Willock, the second season of Guendouzi, this fucker's getting found out this year, and even if we make him captain, it'll be in a background sense for me the longer the season goes on, because he won't be starting, and I don't see how Emery will keep picking him, because no matter who he'll get paired with in that midfield, and I'm hoping we go with a sort of Torreira deep and maybe Ceballos and Ozil, or Ceballos and Willock, or Ceballos and Guendouzi, and, you know, not see Xhaka at all, but he is going to start games at the start. And I don't see how Emery won't see that he'll get, you know, for me, he will get outperformed by any person they put in that midfield pairing with him. And, you know, if they sit him deep to accommodate other players or accommodate him, it'll be the biggest mistake going. He can't defend, so why we would sit him deep at the base of a midfield is embarrassing for me, because he can't defend. And like I said in my previous video about him, you know, he can't get a move going. You know, you watch how Willock and Guendouzi got the play moving. It's instant, it's quick, it's tempo. That's what the Premier's all about, is tempo based. You know, I've raised this so many times in my videos, that you've got to have athletic midfielders that can get up and down and support the defence as well as the attack, and he is incapable of doing either of those things. You know, you watch the game and it's sort of Guendouzi within 10 seconds has took the ball, come and offered himself at the edge of the box for the defenders, took the ball, and then he's looked up, he's identified a pass, or he's broke the line and then looks to identify a pass. While he's doing that, we're still watching Xhaka going dude, 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 doing a turn, trying to get the ball desperately onto his left foot, because the only thing his right leg's good for is standing on. you don't even see him swing it in anger. It's that bad. You know, that's the problem for me, is even the things that people say are his strong points are still weaknesses for me, and what make our team really slow and predictable. And the sooner we get away from it, even you guys that have called me every name under the sun, because I've been telling you for now nearly 3 years that Xhaka is a bang average player, you're going to eat your words at some point, and you know where my DMs are when you want to come and apologise. Not that I think any of you are big enough people to do it, but I'd have done it. You know, if he'd have started putting 90 out of 10s in every week, I'd have come to you and said, you know, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Bother me. And like I said, for me, that's a win, because we get a better Arsenal player. But he's never going to do that. He's never going to put 9 out. He won't even put in 8 out of 10s every week. You're just going to see the same thing from him again this year. And like I say, the only happy side and upside for it for me is that now we've got players here that he's going to get found out, and when they put these kids in, like I said in my last video, he won't get back in the side, because they will play for and give it everything they've got. So he's a real cannon fodder for me for next transfer window. He's survived, luckily for me, this window. He won't survive next year, in my opinion, especially if Ceballos has a good season and Real Madrid don't want him back. You know, even in that little cameo he had, he just looked a miles better player. Let's get on to the other guys. Willock, man of the match for me again. 8 out of 10, definitely. Just really great. Just really energetic. I didn't like him in the first half in that 10 role. It just didn't seem to suit him for me. I think he's much better being involved deeper in the pitch and then helping drive forward and coming into the box late rather than being expected to be there. It just didn't quite... He just didn't look at ease and relax for me there. And then when he got shifted further back in the set, he looked a miles better player again. But, you know, he performed both roles pretty well. And like I say, he's someone who put in an 8 out of 10 while his senior pro next to him's putting in 5 out of 10. You know, it's just levels to this shit. Gwendo, he was back. And straight back into the fold. And fuck me, did he look good. You know, like I said last season, you know, he's going to make mistakes. He's going to get caught out just because he's young and inexperienced. And that trait of the way he plays, which is, you know, he will use his body to buy free kicks, and every now and again he's just not going to get it, is he? The ref's not going to buy it, or he's not going to think it's enough of a foul, and then it puts us under pressure. But, you know, I make those same comments about Xhaka, and we get a lot more from Guendouzi apart from that stuff. So he's someone I've got tons of faith in, and like I said in my last video, he's going to have a massive season this year. Building, you know, if he just slightly builds on 10% on last year, we're in for a great year with him. And he's someone I think should be a future captain. He just screams leader to me. I just love everything about the kid. You know, I care enough to make a chant about him. What an excellent chant it is. You know, and I don't do that for everybody, just the people I love. And yeah, I'm really delighted with him again, to just come back. And then, like I say, he completely outperformed Xhaka for me. He did. You know, when I said to you guys I can draw up a very short list of positives for Xhaka, and then everyone else, they all have that one positive that I give him and another 10, and it's just proved it again for me. It's like, you know, you're watching him, Gwendo and Willock, and you're going, who's this, you know, the 26, 27-year-old senior pro here who's been a captain of his national side? It's not fucking him, is it? You know, he should be from Madagascar. That's the only sort of, you know, Bali or Thailand. That's the only sort of national side this guy should be a captain of. It's fucking... Honestly, Switzerland have got to look at that as well. They've got to have some better players than this guy, because, fuck me, they're never going to do anything with him as captain. Yeah, those two, Willock and Gwendo, were the absolute standouts in this game for me. Both 8 out of 10s, and head and shoulders above anyone else in midfield for me. They look really fucking good, and I could definitely see that being a pairing, just in front of Torreira this year, or one next to Torreira and one a bit further forward. And I'm not sure I think I'd rather go with a flat 3 in midfield than play one further forward if it's those 3, Torreira, Guendouzi and Willock, because I don't think either are particularly suited to the 10 role. So it's going to be really interesting. And it's like I said to you guys, I think a big reason why a lot of our senior pros were underperforming, because they were under zero pressure for their starting position. You know, like people said to me last year defending Xhaka, well, he's better than what else we've got. Yeah, he was. He's better than a 19-year-old from French League 2, just. And he is better than El Neni, but that's because El Neni's absolute dog dirt of a player. You know, and this year he is going to have some competition, and he's going to falter, and he's going to get found out. And, you know, I'm sorry, like I say, it's sadistic that it's making me smile, but I don't want to ever see this guy play for us ever again. that's just my own personal belief. I think we can do better, and I think we're going to see better this year. You know, my lips were watering at the thought of Willock, Guendouzi, Ceballos instead of this jerk watching him play. Just my own personal opinion. Mickey, just really average again. I thought he had a better game than he's had the last few, but he's still nowhere near the required level. It's just not even close. And again, I felt like any good bit of play and tempo we had building up, it then went to Mickey and he totally killed it by losing the ball or just not a great pass. He is the really, like I said, with Mustafi and Xhaka, I expect it from him because I don't rate them, and I think the dog dirt. There is a really brilliant player in Mickey because I've seen it. I've never seen it from the other two. He's a bit like Mesut with that. Although he's never been world class, he has been a very good player, and he just isn't finding it for me. And he, now looking at our wide options, when Nicolas Pepe comes in, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. You know, maybe we're going to go with Eddie backing up Laka and Ober out wide, and then you've got the likes of Nelson, Saka, Martinelli. Mickey's got to go for me this window. I think we should be desperately trying to get rid of him because we're going to be paying them big wages again for nothing. But that's, I think, why we can't get rid of him. Because although I don't think we'll ask for a big fee for him, it's just going to be convincing somebody to pay him close, you know, get him off those wages he's got at our place, and I don't think he's going to move. I think he's probably quite settled and comfortable here. So it's a tough one. It's a real tough one, and I think he's someone that maybe he could move into the 10 role. I don't know. I just don't want to see him out wide on the front three anymore because he just kills it for me. Totally, really disappointing. Yeah, 5 out of 10. Not good enough, or even close to it. Next one, Laka. Well, he played 10 minutes, didn't he, guys, and got injured, so I'm not going to rate him. Just hope to see him back ASAP because he's going to be a huge part of our season this year. And I think his goals might go down this year, but I think his overall importance to the side's going to go up. You know, if he's got Mesut in behind him and Pep and Ober either side, I can see him laying loads of goals on for those two. I really can. And like I say, he's someone who I'm really excited for this season again. And I think he's only going to improve on what he did last year. And like I say, his goal numbers might suffer a little bit, but his overall performances, I think, will go up. So I hope he's back, my little caramel beauty. I hope he's back soon as possible. And Ober, he looked really on it again. I don't know what he's been eating, bucking or putting speed on his Weetabix in the morning. I don't know, but he looks so on it this pre-season. He looks really keen. I think he's happy in his football and where he's at in his life at the minute, and he's playing like that. He seems really content now and settled, and he was a 7.5 for me. And he was really unlucky not to score that scoop over the goalkeeper when he came out, and it just didn't have enough, you know, spin with the outside of his boot to go inside the post. You know, we needed the fans in the stand just behind to, 4 or 5 and go, you know, and it had gone in. But really unlucky and a really good performance again, and he looked tidy off the left and the right. So yeah, he's someone I've got huge hopes for this year. Eddie, who came on for Nelson, who came on in the 10th minute. He was the first one for Laka. You know, and although a bit scruffy, like I said to you guys, he's the same like Chambers. He's one of the only players that was away from the club last year. He had an injury. He's had no time with Unai. You know, and just give him a few games and he will warm up, and like I said, you'll get some exceptional performances in from this season. And he looks so much more on it again. You know, it was just that extra 10% again this week from last week, and if he plays again tonight, it'll be another 10%, and you'll just keep seeing more of the finished article. And he looked really lively, really lively, really threatening, really positive in the way he plays, that he's not afraid to put a player on their arse and get them square on, and make them make a decision. And he's got quick enough feet to find them out, and I'm really excited for Reece this year. I hope he stays in and around the club. I'd be upset if he goes out on loan, but I'm just upset because I'd want to watch him this year, week in, week out in an Arsenal shirt. But it would still be a good move for me on loan if he went to a really good Championship side or Premier League, lower half of the table side. I think he'd do some damage this year and then make it where it'd be hard to look beyond him next season. So, yeah, I'd give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he'd, like I say, not quite there, but God, when he finds it, he's going to be a frightening winger. I just don't see any way how that doesn't happen. He's got people on sticks, you know, instantly as soon as he picks the ball up. He's got that ability to slow it down and rip you with a trick or just blitz you with pace. He's got all the attributes to become a really top class winger, so I'm so excited for Reece. So he was our first sub on 10 minutes, obviously forced through the Laka injury. Eddie, like I say, he came on for Gwendo at half time. A bit like Ainsley, he had a real off day. I can only give him a 5.5 out of 10 really. But I was still encouraged by what I was seeing. I noticed a few people commenting and saying he's missing chances. Yeah, but he's still there. That's when you've got to start worrying, is when he's just wandering around the pitch soulless, lifelessly, and he's never really involved in anything. That's when alarm bells ring and you go, fuck, Eddie might not be up to it. He might not be up to the level I believe he's up to. But you're not seeing that. You're still seeing him, little tricks, little moves, beating players, getting involved in the build-up play, trying to put, you know, goals on a plate for other people. And then, yes, his finishing hasn't quite been up to it, but I think he's just trying a bit too hard to make sure he's under Unai's nose for the start of this season. You know, Eddie is trying to become a Hitler moustache to Unai. He's trying to just wedge himself right there, where there's no way you can look beyond him. And like I say, I'm all for this Oba playing out wide of a free and having Eddie just as Laka's backup. I think that'd be a really good move for everyone involved, because I don't think Oba's numbers suffer from playing out wider, or not enough to make him not a world-class player. And I'd love to see Laka getting a break. You know, if Unai keeps sort of subbing him off late in games, seeing Eddie come on and get a chance, and then Eddie started in Europa early group games and Carabao. I think we've got a really big player in Eddie. I really do. I know a lot of you guys aren't convinced yet, but I am. I've seen enough to believe that this kid can become an absolute killer in front of goal. He's got that natural instinct for me, and he's got a ton of talent. And like I say, although he didn't have the best of games, you know, you can't expect him to put in 9 out of 10 every week, and he has been doing that in pre-season so far. So, you know, 1 out of 5 ain't bad, is it? So I'll take that, and we move, we go again with Eddie. Yeah, then on around the 70th minute, we sort of switched to 4-4-2 because we went to 2 in midfield, like I say, because Eddie came on for Gwendo, and then Ceballos on for Willock, so it was just a sort of Xhaka, Ceballos midfield, and then we had 2 wingers and 2 strikers. And it was a really lovely little cameo, I thought. He's got a massive point to prove, like I said in my other video, whether it's to earn himself a contract with us and enjoy himself at our place, or to go back to Real Madrid. It's a win-win for us this year. He is going to bust a gut. He's going to be down for the cause, and it seems he's obviously been offered plenty of play time, and I really enjoyed what I watched. You know, and instantly it was just like, oh, this is what you guys think Xhaka is. This is, you know, it was like me putting on Xhaka glasses watching Ceballos. He's like, oh, the people that rate Xhaka, this is what they think they're watching. Just what a difference! What a difference! Just somebody having that little extra bit of class. And pace and ability to just shift the ball, you know, play with both feet, which Xhaka certainly doesn't have. He's a proper one-leg wonder. Yeah, and just, like I keep saying, that ability to take the ball at the edge of the box, and then if the pass isn't on, you can drive with it and you can break a line. And like I say, Ceballos, Willock, Guendouzi all have that ability. Xhaka doesn't. Yeah, and I thought, I'd give him a 6.5 out of 10. And like I say, he wasn't a signing that I was over the moon with at first. But I think they may be. You know, if Real Madrid go out and get Pogba, I think then there becomes a real chance that we can get this kid permanently. So I'm all for this one now, and I think there's nothing to lose from it. And I think what I didn't think at first is that he'll definitely ease the pressure on Willock and Gwendo. And we won't have to rely on them as much, and sort of if we mix it all around, and like I said in my other video about, now we have horses for courses, and we have players that we could identify for certain games and different styles, which is something we totally didn't have last year. So I'm really excited about this one. I thought it was a 6.5 out of 10 for his 20 minutes. Yeah, can't wait to see more, really can't. And the idea of him sat deep next to Torreira and somebody else in front instead of Xhaka, boing, boing, boing. God. I feel really bad because I shouldn't be so delighted about the idea of an Arsenal player getting canned out the first team, but honestly, if that was the 2 things that came of this pre-season, is that Xhaka and Mustafi get found out, I'll die a happy man. Next one, Martinelli came on for Mickey. Really like this kid. I'd give him a 6.5 out of 10 for his little cameo. Just a real Sanchez for me. Typical South American, just tenacious. And like I said when I first did a video on him, he's a high energy player, Unai type, this type of pressing football, high intensity football, and that's something he offers that maybe other players down that side don't. He's as much as likely to win a tackle as he is to whip a crossing for a goal. I think this kid's a real diamond in the rough, and I'm not expecting miracles from him this year, but I think down the next few years, I think we've got a real quality player on our hands here and a real bargain, and another reason to be really excited about the future, and I can't wait to watch him play more. I'm not sure what's going to be the crack with him this year, but I don't really care. He's young enough, it's not going to hinder his improvement and his trajectory if he doesn't get a ton of games this year. I think just being in and around, and no disrespect to where he's come from, but a club like Arsenal, the setup, the players that he'll be playing with, he's going to learn so much. How can you go to school with the likes of Mesut, Ober and Laka, and come out of class learning fuck all? It's impossible, isn't it, guys? So I've got big hopes for him. Mustafi came on for Chambers, and he was a 5. Do you know what the such frustrating thing is? If he hadn't have done the step out and him doing his usual thing where he runs out with his arm up, although he's not looked across the line, and if we're even holding a decent line, and I'm not blaming him for the line personally. If it wasn't for that, he was actually quite decent when he came on, but that's the problem. And somebody said to me, well, Chambers made a mistake as well. Yeah, but Chambers did that just today. Mustafi, my issue with him is he makes this same mistake every game. It's every game he's got this mistake in him, and that's why I differentiate the two. I know a lot of you were saying, well, Chambers is just as bad, Socrates is just as bad. Not even fucking close, guys. Those guys aren't dropping a clanger every week, and he is, and that's why, for me, he's so far down the pecking order now. He's become a total banter player, and like I said, I think it's just best for everybody involved that he's just let to leave. We just try and get whatever, like I said, north of 5 million or whatever, just let him go. The booing the other night, I thought I was really poor form. You guys know I wasn't a Welbeck fan, and I've got to cry laughing at the moment that guy can't find a club. Although you lot told me he's a brilliant squad player, and I said to you he's on too big a money, and he's not good enough to be a first teamer on first team wages, and he's a dead player for me. And once again, it's been proved I'm right. That's why this head is so fat, guys, because I'm just proved right so often. And it's not through genius insight, it's just through logic. And yeah, it's no shock to me that he can't find a club when he wants 100 grand a week, because he's not fucking worth it. He's a 40 grand a week player. He always has been, always will be. He should have took less wages and gone somewhere where they'd have made him the main man and made him look good. But anyway, we're getting off topic. And yeah, Mustafi he's just got to go for me. Like I say, I'm not a fan of Wells, I'm not a fan of Xhaka, I'm not a fan of Mustafi. There's certain players that I want rid of, but I'll never at them and say fucking leave my club or I hope your wife and your kids die. I would never boo them, because they're still playing for the Arsenal. And as much as I don't like them, I will just be happy when they leave. I'm never gonna, I was the same with Arsene. Love the man. I would never hold up a sign saying fuck you Arsene, get out, or boo him or anything like that, or scream in his face. Just, it's just a sad demise, and then you have to sort of be relieved when they go and the pressure's finally alleviated. And I feel the same with Mustafi now. I think it's best for him and for everybody involved if we just get him out and it's a fresh start. And I could see him doing quite well somewhere else. Like I say, he's just become the go-to banter player for us now, and I feel like Xhaka for a lot of people also, not just myself, but for a lot of you guys now, I feel you're getting that same way about him, where, we're good at it as a club and as a set of fans, that once you go past a point, we don't ever forgive you. And Xhaka's edging into that territory for me now, and Mustafi's been in it for over a year, so he's really got to go this year, and I think that'd be... It notches up the score of how good a window this has been for us this year. The incomings are looking fucking superb. The outgoings has been piss poor. You'd say we're sort of 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for what the business we're doing coming in. The business going out, it's a 1. And I'm not even sure it's a 1 out of 10 at the moment. But there's still time left. We've still got over a week, so you just don't know. You know, how many of you shot the bolt this window complaining that we're fucked and we've got no money and we're not going to bring anybody in and you're going to be disappointed and this season's going to be shit and you've already written it off, and now you look a fucking idiot and there's still a week left in the window. You know, if you're ever going to learn, guys, to stop running your mouths before you've seen anything factual, you know, now's the time. This should have been your last lesson that you needed for me. You know, if you want to see yourself as a rational grown adult, you've got to fucking learn. So yeah, Mustafi just can't carry on playing. And then the next one, Ainsley came off for Jenko. He was a 5.5. He's just the same old. He bombed up and down and he did his bit. He's just not of that requisite level, is he? Just can't. He's just not got that extra 10%, and it's a shame because the kid clearly loves the club and he's living the dream, isn't he? But he's just not quite up to it. So he's another one that, you know, he's got to go. If we're going to play Ainsley there till Hector comes back, he's got to go. He's got to go this window. Now's the time. Then the next one, Nelson came off and John Jules came on, which I was a bit surprised about. I wasn't sure how much game time John would get now. Mr. J, the JJ. He was a 6 out of 10 for me. He tried maybe a bit too hard, but he was trying. And like I say, again, he looks so physically strong for his age and the level he's stepping up from. I've been really, really surprised by him. I knew he was good at youth level. And like a few like Saka, I thought he'd get bullied about a bit once it came to playing proper senior, you know, decent levels, senior sides. Not been the case, so he's someone for me that I would keep in and around the mix maybe. You know, looking at how much Eddie and Willock developed last year, just being in and around the first team, I think the same could apply for JJ, definitely. And he's the little surprise package for me. Like I say, I expected Saka to be really good. You know, Nelson, a few others, Gab Martinelli maybe, but as someone who was already at the club that I didn't think was anywhere near stepping up and ready, he was one, and I've been really impressed with him, really impressed, and he's another one that we've got a lot of excitement to look forward to in the future if we can keep hold of him. Then the last two, Medley came on for Nacho. He's just so fucking big, isn't he? He's just such a big kid. He's such a unit of a lad. I don't like him out at left back. I just don't think it suits him. I'd have much rather seen him at centre back, but obviously came on for Nacho, so it had to be at left back. I'm not going to rate him because he got 4, 5, 6 minutes, so it's not fair. But yeah, the only thing I can say is he's better at centre back than left back, and I think he'll sort of, if we can get Mustafi and Koz out this window, and then we have Chambers, Socrates, Holding. And then we go and get one more centre-back. I think maybe we'll keep Medley as number 5 and we'll let Mavro go out on loan because I think he needs it much more. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, that. And then the very last one, Burton came on for Ober. One sloppy pass. But after that, really tidy. And like I say, it's embarrassing for me that Burton, Willock, Guendouzi, Ceballos, they all look twice the player Xhaka is. And like I say, I don't want to keep going on about him, but you know, I've been saying it for a long time, guys. An Arsenal team that consists of him and Mustafi isn't a good one. And you know, although it looks like we might be getting Mustafi out the picture soon, it doesn't look like we're instantly going to get rid of this guy. So I think we're going to have to grin and bear it for the first few games of the season. And I hope that he steps up and he puts in 10 out of 10s because I don't want any Arsenal player to play badly. But I'm pretty sure he'll drop 6 out of 10s, 5 out of 10s, and then hopefully Unai will have the bollocks to go, right, well, we've got other options, let's see what these lads do in his place, and then he never gets his place back in the side. Like I say, it's quite malicious, guys, I'm sorry, but that's how I feel about it. I'm sick of watching him play, and now we have so many options in that position, I just don't see why he should. So the first half, first 10 minutes, I thought we were a bit all over the place, but after that we dominated the first half, and I thought we were lucky not to be a couple more in front. And the second half we looked alright, until, for me, Mustafi came on, then the back four completely went to shit. And that's what I noticed with Socrates and Chambers' partnership, is that we didn't look susceptible to that, as I've been saying for fucking forever now, that ball over the top and in the channels where we're oblivious to it and we can't ever stop it. Well, we did. We were never under any risk of that until Mustafi came on, and then all of a sudden any ball over the top or through the channels, they were in. Because that offside trap doesn't work with him in it. Like I say, I'm not directly blaming him, but he does seem to bring the confusion. He is the chaos element for me, and it's just why I can't see him as part of the squad this year. And then, like I say, that was the second half. like I say, I thought we suffered when the mobility went out of midfield, and like I say, where we ended up leaning on Xhaka, because like I say, we went from Xhaka, Willock, Guendo to Xhaka and Ceballos, and then Xhaka, Ceballos and Burton, and it just, we lost that mobile element in the midfield, and that's when we suffered for me. But I thought it was still a pretty decent performance, and I felt we were very unlucky to come off it losing 2-1, and I wasn't quite sure how we came out of that game losing. But you know, it shows you the difference that a top quality striker makes, like we have, is that, you know, Dembele came on at half time or whatever it was, and he got 2 chances and he fucking scored them. He took them both with both hands, and he's had a real meteoric rise for me. You know, going from Fulham or wherever it was to then to Celtic and then now to Lyon, he's just took a massive leap every time, and fair play to him. And I can see another big move coming for him at some point. He seems very, very solid at a high level for me, although not mind blowing. He's very good. And I thought we were unlucky as well with Depay. We know he grew in confidence last year at Lyon and started to look a real star player after his rough time at United. And I thought we did a really awesome job of keeping him quiet, like I say, until Mustafi came on. He sort of got unleashed then, and he caused chaos. But up till that point, I thought the lads at the back did a real stand-up job. You know, considering Ainsley had a bad game, I thought you know, and Nacho wasn't great. Just the 2 centre backs, I thought, did a really, really good job in the first half and into the second. And it's just a shame that the result isn't what we want. But there you go. So that's that, guy. So let's have a look at the other stuff that's going on. Nicholas Pepe, you know. Like I say, I told you guys that we would blow a lot of money this window, and I said, like, similar to last year, we'd do a sort of 5 in, 5 out, and I still believe that. When I get bits of information, they come from somebody that I trust implicitly and never lets me down. And again, you know, he gave me info at the start of the window that I relayed to you guys, and it's looking on the money again. You know, and I hate to feel that smug, but you know, I do, but I don't. I enjoy being right, and you know, trusting the right type of people. And you know, I think we just sort of put the feelers out with Zaha. You know, and Palace have been unrealistic about it, and that, like I say, more fool them now, because we've called their bluff, and you know, and it looks like unless Everton go mad and just spend the dough, they're going to end up with a player that's really unhappy to be there. And why would you want to do that rather than take a, you know, what I see as, you know, 50 to 60 million was a very fair offer for this guy. So more fool them, fuck him, I didn't want him anyway. And I genuinely mean that. I know a lot of people always say that, you know, like when you get turfed from a nightclub and you go, didn't want to come in your shit nightclub anyway, you know. That's not the case. You guys know, watch any of my videos, I've never been a Zaha fan, and I would much rather someone like Pep. Makes much more financial sense as well as footballing sense for me. And yeah, delighted that we've not, it seems that no one else has really gone full tilt for him. Don't know why, but obviously no one has, and that's allowed us to sneak in. And you know, Lille not being a huge club, they're willing to take that sort of money staggered in payments, because it's still a lot of, you know, it's a huge amount of money to them. You know, I'm sure that deal's probably worth more than their club in its entirety. So it's a fabulous deal all round. And like I say, just fucking hell, the idea like a Ober and Pep, and then sort of, you know, Iwobi, Nketiah, Nelson, Saka, Martinelli backing it up. Just sorry guys, but Rob on. God, yeah, just no. I don't care how, you know, and I love it. I don't care how bitter other fans get and say, "Oh, blue shit, it's coming from a Farmers League, half his goals, the penalties, whatever." You'd have all fucking jumped for joy and got a stonker if he'd have signed for you, so you can do one for me. You know, even City fans, I think, have been happy to sign him, and they really don't need any wingers. But yeah, cracking. Really impressive that they've gone and got this done. And you know, you guys said, I said to you guys about Raul that he was making me nervous. I bought into everything he said in that interview, and then a few weeks down the line, I was like, yeah, maybe not. And now you know, rather than rant and rave, you give the guy time, and you know, coming up trumps, aren't there? And I said, you know, about Josh's comments, and I said I wasn't very excited. Well, not excited. I was excited the prospect of a Saliba and a Ceballos, but for me, it's all took a bit too long. It's all after the Lord Mayor show. You know, this sort of stuff should have been happening a few years ago. Him and his dad, they let the Wenger-Gazidis thing go on for way too long, way too long. But like I said to you guys, he owns 100% now. Josh has now fully stepped in as the the overseer, and things are looking totally different. And I think a lot of you guys underrate last year's window. We needed a goalkeeper. We went and got a really brilliant one. We needed somebody just to help get us more solid at the back. And although Socrates is a bit more of a stopgap signing, he's been a decent signing. Torreira, great signing. Guendo, he's going to be a worldie for me, this kid. Cracking signing. And we just seem to have done more of that again this window. Let's say Ceballos maybe not so much because we might not be able to get him after that. But, if we go and get a centre-back for this season, Nicholas, Pep, Turney, Ceballos on loan and Saliba for next year, and Martinelli, you can end up forgetting pretty quickly. Fucking what a fabulous window of business that is. And you guys that are really all about this, spend some fucking money and you don't really look at things in a sensible way. You've got to shut up now for a bit. You've really got to. And I'm sort of looking at these signings and the work that's gone on, and I'm thinking, I don't really have as much as I like Unai, I don't have any excuses for him again this year now. I was saying to you guys, if we'd have just let the players we'd let go and not really bring anything in, he'd get a ride for me, because how can we expect him to do better than last year with a worse squad? Now we've got rid of a few weaknesses and added some real strong focal points to the side, and I'm fully behind him now, and I think he will disappoint me if he doesn't get top four. I'm not saying we should sack him, but I think it'd be a real underperformance now if we don't get top four, or go very close to winning the Europa League. This is a side that should be going very deep in the Europa, and just things are looking really positive. And I think now we've got the main of the ins happened, I think we are going to now have a big press. Like I say, I think I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, the Turney deal is a lot closer than a lot of you realise. And although there's been a lot of talk about third bids not happening, they have happened, all the rest of it. I told you the second bid was good enough. It just needs restructuring. I told you between 22.5 and 27.5 million will make the deal happen. Celtic are happy with that number. They'd just like more of it up front. So that's where we're going to have to find a common ground. But I think we will, and I think he'll be an Arsenal player before the end of the week, or before the weekend's out. And then a centre-back, all for a centre-back. Umtiti's name seemed to come up again yesterday. And I told you guys months ago, we had a meeting with Barcelona, I know this for a fact, over the idea of maybe him and Malcolm, and we pushed around some ideas, and I told you that Barca wanted something in return that we weren't willing to give them. Maybe we've come back in again and had another chat with them and said, look, guys, we can have him on here for a loan, and you can see if his injuries clear up, you can see what he's capable of, and then we can maybe come back to a deal at the end of next year. But I think it'd suit all parties if we got him in. And people say his injury record, all the rest of it. Right, well, just on the basis of it, even a one-legged Umtiti, what would you rather have, him or Mustafi? Because I know which one it is for me. So that's that one. Maybe that might happen. It looks like Cos. I'm not going to get bogged down in what he's done, but what a wanker. He's ruined any good work he's done for me. And he just needs to go now. We just need to find a way of getting him out. I saw rumours saying that he'd agreed deal somewhere. Well, let's just get him gone. I don't really care if there's any money involved, or just he pays out his contract, or they do 4.5 million or whatever it is. Let's just get it gone. Let's make it happen. Mustafi, similar comments. I've seen that rumour about Monaco, 30 million euros. Fuck me. Like somebody said, if Raul and Vinay or whatever get 30 million euros for this guy, build him with the biggest just name it the Rauliots. The ground should be named after him. I don't know, name a street leading up to the ground after. Something needs to happen, because that'll be incredible. I said that I thought we should be able to get 10 to 20 for him. Getting over that is impressive for me. Just really impressive. And hopefully that one happens. I think getting Cos and Mustafi out will give us the money to go and get in a centre-back. And I think that's all we need. I don't think we need two. I think we just need one, and then we can wait for Saliba next year. Jenko, still not many noises, but I think he is one that we'll let go right at the end of the window if it'll just sort of happen, I think. El Nene, his murmuring starting now about him. He's another one that's got to go. I don't understand how he didn't go in the first sort of week of the window, because we all know he's surplus to requirements. There's no way the club have told him anything other than it was a cock-up from the previous regime, mate. Shouldn't have been given a new contract. Shouldn't have been given the number 4 shot. Let's just get rid of you. Mickey for me now is the one make weight up top. You know, I said Mickey, Mustafi, Xhaka were the most important outgoings this year. None of them have happened. But we've had incomings. That means that these guys probably won't get as much game time, and they're under pressure even if they do for their positions. So I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I've just mentioned the Tierney deal. Like I say, I think that'll happen before the week's out, because I think the money was right, the bid was good. It was just how it's structured. The centre back, there's been murmurings about Boubacar. He'd be a cracking one. You know, the idea of him holding and Saliba going forward, that's fucking another one. That's like the front three. That's really mouth-watering. But I don't know how risky that'd be for this season, because he's not old enough for me yet or experienced enough to just. It'd be very similar to the Saliba comments, just to drop him straight in the first team in the Prem and expect him to swim every week. I think it'd be a dangerous game. But on the other hand, I would not complain if he's the centre back we bring in. Definitely not. Like I say, TT noises. It looks like now all of a sudden we're hearing the right noises. I said to you guys it was worrying me that there'd not really been any murmurings after the Saliba deal happened, and now they're sort of kicking up again. So I think that might happen. It's just been a great window so far. Like I say, world class on the incomings, piss poor on the outgoings, but I can see that still changing. And I thought it was really interesting with the Pep deal that, you know, good old Jorge Mendes, you know, someone that we wouldn't have in and around the club while Wenger and Gazidis were here. You know, as soon as they've gone, the guy's in here, and you know, we're getting him in to broker a deal, to then deal with someone to broker a deal, which was Pep's agent. You know, tells you what kind of man Raul is for me. He's not a mercenary, but he is a man that he's no bullshit, no nonsense. He will make, so when he says I'm going to make this happen, he'll make it happen, or he'll do everything within his power to make it happen, even if it doesn't come off. And that's such a pleasant thing, you know. Super agents, we all hate them. We all know they're the scourge of the fucking earth. You know, whether it's just you think they're just cuntish people, or you don't like me, the idea that any money they get goes directly out of the game. But they're part of the game. You have to deal with them. And that was a big problem for me with Wenger and Gazidis, where these guys are just going to deal with whoever it is. If they identify a player that they want, they don't give a fuck if fucking Bertie Bassett is his agent, you know, or Katie Hopkins. They'll just deal with him. They'll just put with it. Just to, you know, it's a means to an end, and that's how these guys see it. So yeah, it's really hotting up nicely, and I'm excited to watch us again tonight, guys. So I'll look to do another video tomorrow if I get a chance. I'm off to Newcastle with my mum tomorrow because all of her blasting lasers at her brain starts tomorrow. So I will try and find some time. I'm going to book a hotel later, so hopefully we'll have somewhere to bunker down, going in and out of the hospital rather than just sitting around. And I'll try and get a video done. Hope you've enjoyed, guys. And Nicolas Pepe, booyakasha, 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 booyakasha. I'm gonna be doing it all day today, just yes. The Theresa May walk. I'm gonna give it large everywhere. Happy days. I told you, some of you were expecting it to get announced last night, and I said not a chance. I've got a very distinct feeling it'll get announced around tea time today, or through the afternoon, and then we might wheel him out at half time during the game. Just my opinion. Let's see, but it's so nice to feel positive. You guys know I'm someone that's a positive bloke, but without being sort of delusional, and being realistic. And a lot of you, I think, are the total other way, where you're all doom and gloom. I just want somebody to come to me that's not a happy Arsenal fan at the minute. You know, it's not perfect. There is still things that can piss you off, because there's things that still piss me off. But come on, guys. You know, where we were a couple of months ago to how things are looking now, you can't grumble. Come on, you greedy beggars. You. Oh. Nicolas Pepe, yeah, boy. Hope you've enjoyed, guys. Have as much fun today as I'm going to do doing my Theresa May walk over there, and just... Anyone says, oh, you seem happy, what's that all about? I go, motherfucking Pep, baby, with some motherfucking Nicolas Pep. Stick that in your pep and smoke it. Toot toot. Love it. Take it easy, guys. Signing out. Hope you've enjoyed.